And here we are again. Very good evening, everyone. Tuesday, the 7th of April, 2020. I hope we're all keeping well. I hope we're all keeping safe. I hope we're staying home. And for those of you that are joining me for the first time, wondering, well, what's this hypocrite doing? Why is he outside? I'm walking the dog. And the reason why I'm going now at silly o'clock is because it's deader than it normally is. There's no one around, basically. I'm social distancing with time, so it works. So if it's Saturday or Sunday, over the weekend, our Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, was taken into hospital with worsening symptoms of COVID-19. Obviously, we should all know by now that the Prime Minister's not been very well, and he was showing mild symptoms of COVID-19, for which he isolated himself and worked from home. Jack, good evening. And what really annoys me, and it's sad, is what it is the fact that there are nasty, hateful people out there who unfortunately are on the left to far left. Sarah, hi, at the far left, who wish ill of him. Victoria Gray, good evening. I'm very well, thank you. Look, don't get me wrong, I'm not really a fan of Boris. Sam, how are you? I'm not a fan of Boris, not by a long shot. I was not a fan of Jeremy Corbyn. However, when you toss the two in a pot and you think, well, what one do I want more than the other? Boris would win every time. And it's not because I'm to the far right of the equation or to the right of politics at all. I would love to vote for Labour again. I really would. But there's people out there, unfortunately, and again, it's people who I know personally who are wishing ill of the Prime Minister. Why would you do that? Why on earth would you wish someone ill? Or even in some cases, as I've read on social media recently, why would you wish people dead? Reese, you be safe as well. Thank you, appreciate that. Why would anyone wish someone dead? The way you have to look at it is Boris Johnson is a family man, first and foremost. He's not just the Prime Minister, he's a person like you, like me. Just because he lives in what seems like a different world to all of us, in the world of politics, where money is a completely different thing from his standpoint to our standpoint, just because he's in charge of running Her Majesty's kingdom, basically, it's you know, what's the real difference between him and I? He's a person. He's a human being. He deserves life just like the rest of us. Hello, Roy. And the thing is, this is what another thing that annoys me is there are people out there saying, well, why should he get preferential treatment in hospitals? He's no different to us. And in a manner of speaking, the people who are saying that are correct. They are correct. However, this is what people don't seem to understand with their pig bastard ignorance. He is the leader of the United Kingdom. What surprises me more is the fact that he didn't have a hidden hospital room fully kitted out somewhere underneath the bowels of number 10 with his own medical team. I guarantee that would be the case of the president of the United States or other places. I'm telling you. So how there wasn't a complete hospital type room fully kitted out in case of an emergency near number 10, which wasn't St Thomas's. I mean, don't get me wrong, St Thomas's is a wonderful hospital. I was born there, for one. It's literally a 2-minute drive in a car from number 10. I know this because I drive past both on my bus. But people are saying he doesn't deserve preferential treatment. As bad as it sounds, and People are really going to dislike me for this. Yes, he's a human being just like you and I. He is the leader of the United Kingdom. He should get preferential treatment. It shouldn't have to have been in a hospital. This is what I don't agree with. It should have been in a facility somewhere that the government would have had or should have had in case of an emergency, specifically for the Prime Minister. I would have thought that would have been like a no-brainer by now, you know, but that's just me. Maybe that's just me. I mean, if you look at the White House, you know, the home of the president, there's the whole building itself has its own air filtration system. You can't tell me there's no medical facility within that complex. So why is it there was no medical facility in or around number 10? This is what annoys me. And yes, I do believe that Boris Johnson should have a slight, not preferential treatment, but a priority. He needs to run the country. He's probably getting the exact same treatment as other people, but he was rushed through because he's the Prime Minister. What were you expecting? I mean, honestly, please don't be thick about this whole situation. I know that you think, well, my dad deserves better, my mum deserves better, my nan deserves better, and in our own way, we're all correct. We all deserve preferential treatment. I get that. But the thing is, unfortunately, as bad as it sounds, the Prime Minister takes priority over anyone in this country. He does. The same as the Queen or any member of the royal family would take a priority over anyone in this country. How are we doing, Maddie, Mads, Guna? I have Secretary of Foreign Affairs, aka Prime Minister. Yeah, you know, I just don't get people's points of view when I do get people's points of view. I do understand why people get annoyed. I get why people get pissed off. I understand. I'm not ignorant to people's opinions. I've always said that I understand where people are coming from. It's called having a certain level of empathy. I've said this many times. But what people just don't understand is priorities. You see, if there was a man that had been stabbed in the belly and a pregnant woman who'd been stabbed in the belly, both screaming in agony, who would get the priority treatment? The woman who was pregnant. This is just a no-brainer. So of course, if you've got two people, man or woman, it doesn't matter, one of them works as, let's just say, a lawyer, you see, for, let's not say lawyer, because at the moment every single job in this country is valued. Let's just say someone works in a job. Okay, I'm not going to pick a job because every job at this point is valued. Let's just say someone who works in a job which earns less than £20,000 a year. Let's just say that, okay? And you've got the Prime Minister, both showing the exact same symptoms of COVID-19, okay? The other person's job, although it's important to that person, has literally no impact whatsoever in the running of the country. In fact, if that person had lost their job within a week, that person would be replaced twice over. But it's important to that person. And then you've got the Prime Minister who is in charge of the country, literally runs the place. Who do you think is more important to save in the grand scale of things? Bus spotter, how you doing? I can't really see properly because I'm bouncing the phone around and haven't got my glasses on, but I saw bus spotter, so I'm good, thank you. How are you? And I know it sounds silly, my argument. I know some people ain't going to get it, but you've got to think Who is it worth saving? The person whose job will be forgotten in a year's time, or the person who is in charge of literally running the country? Who is worth saving more? And to be fair, if it was down to me, if I had COVID-19 and I was in a really bad way and the Prime Minister was literally next to me, and it wouldn't matter who the Prime Minister was, to be fair. For me, this isn't political. And this isn't political at all. Whether it's Boris Johnson, Jeremy Corbyn, Tony Blair, it doesn't matter who the Prime Minister is or what political party they represent. It wouldn't matter to me. If I was in the exact same position at the exact same time with COVID-19, I would expect to be a lower priority of saving or being given treatment than whoever the Prime Minister is at any given time. And I would understand that, and I would accept that. That to me is common sense. You put the good of the country first. The good of the country outweighs the wants of the few. You see, and you need the Prime Minister for the needs of the many, not for the needs of the few. My need to be alive and my want to be alive far outweighs the need for that person to run the country. And I know some people are going to go, oh, you're stupid, your life matters, blah, blah, blah. Yes, everyone's life matters. But you need to look at this from a logical standpoint. You have to. You have to look at it from a logical standpoint. You see, we may not be happy with it, we may not like it, but we have to understand. And he's not on a ventilator. And there's a lot of stories going out there lately saying that Boris Johnson's on a ventilator. He's not got much to blah, 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 blah. His symptoms got worse. He had a persistent cough. And what he would more than likely have happened, as they say in the medical profession, is he spiked. So his temperature more than likely kept spiking, where it reaches a certain point and then drops again, or it'll get to a certain point rather rapidly out of nowhere. That's probably what was happening to him. Because he spiked, they took him in as a precaution. And because he was in there, he probably was at the right place at the right time. He may have found it difficult to breathe or was coughing a bit more than usual, and they put oxygen into him either with a mask or through tubes up the nose. That's probably all it's been. But he's not on a ventilator, and as from what I can gather, he's not knocking on death's door. This is what's happening. And people seem to think that, oh, he's been put on ventilation, he's gonna die, blah, blah, blah. No, because from what I'm led to believe, and I really do hope this is not true because it's scary, apparently, and this isn't my words, apparently 50% of people on ventilation don't make it. And I don't know how true that is. It's a scary figure. It is. It's knowing that if you go onto ventilation in that situation, you have a 50% chance of living or dying. That's scary. And I would love to say it's a 70% chance of living, but I just don't know. It's just what I read. But he's not on a ventilator, which is good. Again, I wouldn't wish death on anyone, especially when I've literally stared it down myself. It's not nice, because you start thinking about your own mortality. Imagine what it's like for anyone in hospital at the moment, in critical care or in intensive care or in a ventilator, knowing exactly what's going on. It becomes very real. I can tell you now how fragile life is. It does become very real very quickly. And it hits home. So the fact there are people out there saying that they wish him dead, I'm sorry, I've got no time or patience for you. If that's going to be your attitude towards another human being, do yourself a favor and just disappear into the darkness somewhere. There is literally no place on this earth for you if you're going to be wishing people dead. That's just wrong. It's wrong. Go live under a bridge. Go and be forgotten about. Because you're an asshole if you wish anyone dead, whether it's the Prime Minister or anyone. I mean, I know I've said in the past, yeah, paedophiles should die, blah, blah, blah. And I do agree with that to a point. But two wrongs don't make a right. Wishing someone dead, when you think about it, makes you no better than that person. Doesn't it? I would rather, I'm just going to go off on a tangent quickly. I would rather, if this was such a thing, if a convicted, proven paedophile was literally convicted of it, I would rather have the ability to make that person immortal. Make them live forever. I would. That way, they get to see everyone they've ever known and loved die. And while they live forever, I want them to have an experience forever every single known disease on the planet. Forever. And experience every kind of symptom one after the other, but have them not die. I would rather that happen to someone who was a convicted pedophile than have them die. Yeah? Because I think that's actually worse. But I would never wish death on someone. So I'm just wanted to get my feelings out on that. It's just a difficult situation with Boris Johnson. He's in hospital. He is the leader of the country. Not many people like him, and a lot of people love him. You see, it's a really awkward situation for politics, but he's a human being, and he deserves to live. Every human being deserves to live, and he should get a priority because he is the leader of the United Kingdom. That to me is a no-brainer. And I'm going to say it again. If I had it and I was in hospital taken there at the exact same time as him, I would expect to be pushed to the bottom of the queue, because I would actually say, look, he's the Prime Minister, treat him first. Isn't it? Doesn't matter whether you like him, even if it was Jeremy Corbyn. Even if he was the Prime Minister, I'd say the same thing, whether I liked him or not. You see? So people out there, please stop being idiots. Please stop being COVID idiots. Stop being arseholes. It doesn't take much to be nice in this life. Being nice is easy, because it's nice to be nice, isn't it? So all I'm going to say again is I'm going to leave this video where it is. Please stay safe, stay home, wash your hands. Love you lots. Ah.